All right, let's jump right into this explainer. We've all seen the sci-fi movies, right? The ones where robotic suits give people literal superhuman strength. But today, we're separating Hollywood fiction from scientific reality. We're unpacking a massive, monumental scoping review that maps the entire evidence landscape of exoskeletons, just to show us exactly where this technology actually stands right now.
Just to wrap your head around the sheer scale of this data map, just think about this number. That is nearly 750,000 participants. We're talking about data pulled from over 5,000 original studies and over 1,000 linked references. This isn't just a couple of isolated lab experiments, it's a structured, massive data set spanning decades of research, all the way from 1964 right up to peak publication years in the 2020s. It gives us this completely unprecedented bird's eye view of what actually works, what absolutely doesn't, and what still needs some serious fine-tuning when we start strapping machines to the human body.
So here's our roadmap for today. We're going to cover clinical miracles, supporting the industrial worker, controlling the machine, the personalization puzzle, and finally, a much-needed reality check.
Let's kick things off with Section 1, Clinical Miracles, focusing on empowering rehabilitation and mobility.
Now, across the board, exoskeletons are doing some truly incredible things, driving gait speeds, increasing strength, and fundamentally restoring mobility across a bunch of distinct clinical populations. For stroke survivors, we're seeing devices that genuinely improve overground walking speed and help with upper limb motor recovery. For folks with spinal cord injuries, these suits are enabling overground walking, and get this, even improving bowel and bladder function. We're seeing kids with cerebral palsy improve their walking economy, and older adults using hip exoskeletons to significantly boost their balance and prevent falls. Add in targeted assistance for people managing Parkinson's disease and multiple sclerosis, and honestly, the breadth of application here is just astounding.
And this finding brilliantly illustrates the physiological payoff. These devices can literally make physical movement take significantly less human energy. Think about that for a second. By providing targeted robotic assistance at the ankle joint, researchers actually documented a 39% reduction in the metabolic cost of movement. Basically, the wearer is burning way less oxygen and expending far less effort to achieve the exact same physical task. But you really have to notice the key words here: after training and customization. Because, the machine doesn't just magically do the work for you right out of the box. You have to actually learn how to move with it.
Moving right along to Section 2, supporting the industrial worker and how this tech relieves strain in the workplace. It turns out passive shoulder and back exoskeletons are drastically cutting muscle strain during overhead lifting and repetitive bending. Imagine you're an auto worker, right? You're holding a heavy tool over your head all day long. Well, a shoulder support exoskeleton can reduce the activity in your anterior deltoid muscle by up to 60%. Or say you're a logistics worker constantly bending over to lift heavy boxes. A back support exosuit can actually drop the strain on your erector spinae muscles by up to 65%. We are literally talking about fundamentally altering the heavy biomechanical toll that hard labor takes on the human body.
So how exactly are they pulling this off? Well, the data shows a really clear divide between passive and active systems. Passive systems are basically using springs and elastic materials to store and release energy. They don't need batteries, they're super lightweight, and they provide great relief. But active devices? Those use powered motors and actuators, and they provide even more biomechanical support. In fact, active devices can have up to 3-fold larger effects on back muscle reduction, and they can significantly drop the actual compression forces on your spine by up to 22%. It's literally lifting the weight right off your bones.
All right, let's pivot to Section 3, Controlling the Machine, where brain meets brawn.
This brings us to some of the absolute most cutting-edge data in the entire review: brain-computer interfaces, or BCI. This allows paralyzed users to literally control robotic suits with their minds. No, seriously, it's fundamentally changing the landscape of neurorehabilitation. By reading EEG signals directly from the brain, the system detects exactly when a stroke survivor intends to move their hand, and then the exoskeleton physically opens their hand for them. And what's wild is that the data shows this closed-loop feedback actually drives neuroplasticity. The brain rewires itself faster because the physical movement is perfectly synced up with the mental intent.
Another really brilliant control mechanism we're seeing is FES, or functional electrical stimulation. Hybrid systems use FES to stimulate the human muscles directly, and doing this actually reduces the exoskeleton's motor torque requirements and fatigue. So instead of the robot doing 100% of the heavy lifting, it sends a safe electrical current into the user's paralyzed muscle, which causes it to contract and help lift the limb. It's a total partnership. The human biology and the robotic hardware are sharing the load. That keeps the muscles active, and as a bonus, allows the exoskeleton's batteries to last much longer.
So the absolutely crucial point here is this fluid workflow, where artificial intelligence translates biological intent into physical robotic power. The user thinks about moving, or their muscles produce a tiny electrical signal known as an EMG signal. Then, deep learning AI models step in as the translator. They decode that signal in milliseconds with incredible accuracy, sometimes over 95%, and then the exoskeleton actuates seamlessly. When this workflow hits zero lag, the user actually stops feeling like they're driving a machine, and they start feeling like the machine is just a natural extension of their own body.
Now for Section 4, the personalization puzzle, or what we call the Goldilocks rule. Here's where expectation meets reality. If the device, the controller, and the task aren't perfectly aligned to the specific user, it can actually hinder movement and skyrocket cognitive load. A well-matched system, that gives you metabolic savings and real strength gains. But a poorly matched system, the user actually ends up burning more energy just fighting the robot's pre-programmed path. The data is full of instances where users suffered altered, unnatural joint kinematics, or where the sheer mental effort of trying to coordinate with the robot slowed their reaction times down significantly. So, the overarching conclusion of this massive 5,000-study review is crystal clear. Exoskeletons are not some uniformly superior magic bullet. They are highly personalizable adjuncts that require absolute precision tuning. The specific degree of assistance, the timing of the motors, the exact physical alignment of the joints, it all has to be tuned perfectly to your unique gait, your unique injury, or your unique job. Simply put, if it isn't personalized, it just doesn't work.
Finally, let's look at Section 5, Reality Check, focusing on the real barriers to mass adoption. Because despite all these clear biomechanical benefits, things like workflow disruption, physical discomfort, and extreme costs are causing very real friction out there. Imagine you're in a dynamic, unpredictable environment like a busy construction site. An exoskeleton that helps you lift heavy blocks might completely get in your way when you suddenly need to climb a ladder or squeeze into a tight space. On top of that, we see reports of rigid cuffs causing pressure pain after just 5 minutes of use. We see extensive setup times that totally eat into a patient's valuable therapy window. Plus, there are genuine safety risks and fall hazards if the exoskeleton's center of mass doesn't perfectly align with the user's natural balance. And obviously, let's not forget, these are incredibly expensive pieces of machinery.
This quote perfectly highlights the disconnect we're seeing right now. Even if the tech works flawlessly in the lab, it has to make sense in the complex, messy reality of human life and work. In one field study, Danish masons used a back support exoskeleton. It gave them great support, and they actually gave it positive usability ratings. But when researchers asked if they would actually adopt it for their daily jobs, only 22% said yes. It slightly increased strain in other areas, and it just didn't flow with the nuanced reality of bricklaying. The human factor, it turns out, is the ultimate bottleneck.
I want to leave you with a provocative thought to wrap up this explainer. We clearly have the technology to augment the human body, but are we really ready to adapt our world to fit the machine? The data absolutely proves that exoskeletons can heal us, support us, and augment our capabilities. But until we start designing our workflows, our clinics, and our very physical environments to seamlessly accept these technologies, they're probably going to remain brilliant prototypes rather than everyday tools. We have to meet the machine halfway. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive, and definitely keep your eyes on this space because the evolution is happening incredibly fast.